Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 symbols with a hidden meaning we never even noticed. We see symbols all day every day. Look around the room you're in and I bet you'll see loads. But what do these symbols mean and where do they come from? The answers are shocking. Before we get into it, please subscribe to my new channel, The Crafty. It's got some amazing videos and anyone who comments on the latest video saying they subscribed will be shouted out in the next Top 10s video. So do that, and why not subscribe to Top 10s too? Coming in at number 10, we have USB. This is a logo anyone watching this on a computer should be able to see right now. USBs are one of the most useful things, as they're used to charge electronics and plug things into your computer. But the logo looks pretty strange, right? It's a triangle with a bend in the middle of it with a circle and a square in the ends. It may seem like a random squiggle, but this is not at all the case. The USB symbol was actually inspired by the trident of Poseidon. Poseidon is the Greek god of sea, waters, and horses. And his trident represents his power over these three things. And that's why there's three ends on the USB symbol: the triangle, the circle, and the square. The triangle is the horses, the circle is the waters, and the square represents the sea. And each one symbolizes a different device connecting to any computer. This is because with USBs you can connect pretty much any device to any computer, showing how universal it is. I don't know who did the thinking behind this symbol, but whoever they were, they had way too much time on their hands. Next up is Command Key. This is another one for computer users. If you're using a Mac, look down at your keyboard. On the bottom row of keys, you should see a key that says CMD, meaning command. And on that same key will be a square with 4 circles on the corners. This may seem like a made-up symbol by Apple for the command key, but only people in Sweden will know the true meaning behind this symbol. That's right, in Sweden this is a common road sign which is used to point out famous landmarks. Thanks to the symbol meaning there's an important landmark, that makes sense for the command key, as it's one of the most important keys on a Mac. Did any of you guys know about this hidden meaning behind the symbol? If you're Swedish you don't count, as I'm sure this is very obvious to you, but not to anyone else. Next up is check. I'm not talking about cash and checks here. What I mean by check is what a teacher writes next to your test answers. Well, that never happened to me, but you do see it with not stupid people. While this is used in schools in 2017, it originated in the Roman Empire. The check or tick used to be a V, which stands for veratus, meaning true in Latin. Over time, however, the symbol changed thanks to people using ink pens. The ink didn't always appear immediately as you began writing with old pens, which weren't very good. So the first line became shorter, and it could get confusing having check marks in the letter V looking so similar. Now that is one fascinating fact all the way from the Roman Empire.
Are you not entertained?
Next up is peace. Today the peace symbol is everywhere in real life and in pop culture. But what does it really mean? Some people think it has something to do with the peace sign you can make with your fingers, but this is wrong. The symbol actually originates from flag communication. The two lines making a mountain shape mean N in flag communication, and the line going directly down means D in flag communication. But what does ND mean? Well, it actually stands for nuclear disarmament, which is why the symbol was made. This was to show that people didn't agree with the use of nukes back when the USA and USSR weren't getting along. Now that is one awesome meaning most people have no idea about. Next up is recycling. This is a symbol we're seeing more and more as the world gets greener and greener. The symbol is pretty new and actually came about on Earth Day in 1970, which for the record was the first ever Earth Day. The arrows may seem basic, but they have 3 meanings. Firstly, they represent generations, as grandparents help the world for adults and then adults help the world for kids. This way the world will keep being saved and made better forever, as it goes in an infinite loop. The square parts of the arrows are also separated from the arrows of progress. This is because the square parts represent non-renewable energies which are on their way out. And of course green is the color of nature, so they had to include it in the logo. Say what you will, but I like this symbol, and I never realized the separation between the arrow and the square parts of this symbol. Coming up next is radiation. This symbol is very scary and is supposed to show danger. But what does this scary sign really mean? Well, unsurprisingly, as it's about radiation, the explanation is something to do with science. Each of the 4 parts of the symbol actually mean something. The circle in the middle is an atom, and then the shapes around it mean the 3 different types of radioactivity, those being gamma, alpha, and beta. Wow, those all sound like frat houses. Anyway, the sign was made in 1946 not only to scare people away from nuclear bases, but also to educate people. They should have really used this in school, maybe then I'd have passed science. But this symbol is really interesting, as I always assumed it was a fidget spinner, based off the first historic fidget spinner of 1946. Next up is @sign. We all use @ symbols every day for email, and even if you're too young for email and just use InstaChat or Snapgram, then you still need an email to sign up to them. The sign at first may just look like a different way of writing the letter A in @, but the true meaning behind this symbol is a little more complex. The origin is partly unknown, as it's surprisingly old and was around way before computers, let alone email. Most believe that the @ symbol is a shortened version of the Latin word ad, which means two. But another theory is that the @ symbol is to do with arroba, which is a unit of weight. The sign was moved onto English typewriters when they were around, and then naturally moved onto computers after that. Then in 1972, when email was invented by creator Ray Tomlinson, he chose the @ symbol to be used in emails, making it famous. And fun fact, in Russia, the @ symbol is called the dog symbol because it kind of looks like it has a small tail.
Oh, those Russians.
Next up is pound key. The pound key, number sign, or hashtag is everywhere on the internet today. It's now used as a hashtag on things like Twitter and Instagram. But this of course was not the original meaning, nor is it anything to do with a telephone. It actually originates from Latin and is a medieval signature. It means with God in Latin and was used to sign off letters in medieval times, kind of like how people say God bless today. And in some countries, this is also used as a pound symbol, as in weight. One thing's for sure, this symbol has a lot of uses, whether it be signing a medieval letter or Instagramming the low-fat muffin you just ate. What do you use this symbol for the most? For me, it's gotta be the muffins, along with my daily mocha latte frappuccino with extra toilet water. Next up is section sign. This is a sign you've likely seen on your keyboard before and thought, what is that? It's one of those keys that are just there but have never been pressed. But this symbol has a use. It's used in books to mark sections of text. It's supposed to be two S's put together, as it's short for Sinus Symphysis in Latin. Wow, that sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Anyway, the symbol originated in Germany and is called a Satz, meaning sentence. And that's why in English, it's called a section mark. You may have never seen it before, but if you want to see one, then close your computer and pick up a book. Nah, I'm just kidding, we're not living in the dark ages here. Next up is copyright. We all know the copyright symbol is used to show something is yours. It was first used in 1670 in the USA when authors wanted to show their work was theirs. However, they used the word copyright instead of the symbol we know today. The first time the shortened symbol of a C in a ring was used was in 1802 in America. It was then shortened to 18, standing for 1802, and then it was shortened to AB for some reason. But then finally in 1909, it returned to the C in the circle. I guess that makes more sense than AB. This symbol seems super simple, as it's just a single letter of a word in a ring. But if you dig deep enough, there's an interesting backstory to everything. Well, except people who write "you know my name but not my story" in their Instagram bios. Yeah, those people are never interesting. Next up is period. This is the final symbol on this list, so it only seems right for it to be a period mark. A period mark, or full stop, is used to show the end of a sentence. It may seem super plain, and you might be thinking, how can this have a backstory? It's literally a dot. But this symbol also has an origin story, and a pretty interesting one at that. Initially, the symbol began in ancient Greece. It was used at the top of sentences and would be used as a pause, kind of like how we use commas today. It then went a little lower to the middle of the sentence to show the end of a sentence, and then it moved down again once more to show the period symbol we all know today. In various other countries at different points in time, the period symbol has meant many different things. But one thing we can all agree now is that it means the end of a sentence in modern times. This is one interesting origin story to a symbol we see hundreds of times a day. But of course, all of these symbols' backstories are very interesting, and I personally had no idea about them. What about you? Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the most amazing symbol backstory. And for a lot of these logos, there's been debate about the real reason behind them. But I hope this video clears everything up and you're well informed on any symbol you see now. Next time you see one of these symbols with your friends, show them and you can tell them the real reason behind them. Some of these facts, like the USB one, are so obscure they'll wow anyone. So show these off and look like a true genius. Just don't mention about the radiation sign being a fidget spinner. I just looked it up and I think I could have been wrong. But everything else was right, and I'm personally very surprised. Not that I got things right, just about the facts. Well, maybe a bit of both. But if there's one thing to take away from this video, it's that every symbol, no matter how mundane, has an amazing reason behind it. I think it's the USB, because that is pretty interesting. And guys, as promised, on screen now are the shoutouts to anyone who commented I subscribed on the latest Crafty video. Be sure to go over there and subscribe to the Crafty, because I'm going to shout out everyone who does. All you need to do is leave a comment saying you did, and you'll be featured in the next Top 10s video. Well, as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving to the new channel, all the likes, views, and comments. So it's only right for me to shout each and every single one of you out. So keep it up.